Okay, so I know a few of you have been joining us regularly. It's become a weekly ritual now, as part of our, Designix AI 2026 initiative that we've been working on. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Preet. I have run the Designix community, started the Design Leadership Summit as well, and this is our fourth event. So far we've done two events focused on, Claude Code to Figma workflows. And then we did one on design prompts tear down. That was also a lot of fun. And so one question that kept coming up was like, how do we give folks sorry. How do we give folks insights into, taking these prototypes and bringing them live? So live as in like, it's live on the internet, stuff you can share with others, but also things that people could actually, let's say, register on if it needs be, and start using. So much more richer web apps rather than, static prototypes that have just data being rendered on the front end, but every time you refresh, it's gone. So how could you make it an actual working app to quite some extent, as much as us designers can ship production ready code? Yeah. And before I do that, I had one request for all of you, which is this is definitely becoming a weekly cadence, which is exciting. I'm really excited about it. Every Friday, get to hang out with a lot of you and jam on AI stuff. And so next week, we are digging into paper.design. I don't know how many of you have looked into it or heard about it. It's quite a hyped up tool on at least X and even some folks on LinkedIn, because it brings together almost like Figma, Cursor, uh, kind of UIs and workflows into one interface. So that's the one we are looking into next week. And so what I need, uh, and what I would love to request from all of you is help in getting us, talking about the stuff that we at the DesignX team are putting out together, helping us amplify that messaging in the community as well. So for those of you who would love to help contribute back, I just wrote, and again, these are two, boilerplate versions. I would love if folks after the session has ended, whether you use X or LinkedIn, you don't have to use these exact templates, but the idea is how do we amplify some of these initiatives, that we are putting out. And what that does for us is like, that gives me a little more amplification that I can go to paper.design and be like, hey, 100 of us are interested in, demoing your tool. Could your team do it for us? Could you give us some free licenses, stuff like that? So it really helps us amplify the messaging, because right now when I've reached to some of these tooling companies, it seems like, they are not thinking of designers as a very core audience group. Yeah. So I would love your support in getting the message out there that there are hundreds of us tinkering around and playing with these tools and trying to build into our workflows. Okay, I'll get started. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to start with a very, very interesting question. And sorry, Jolie, you can also answer this for Vancouver. But if you have one in Toronto, a favorite, for the folks who live in Toronto, uh, what is the best latte, or let's say even cappuccino in Toronto? So go to chat, drop your answer. Oh, Rashmi, Oli, I think that's super adorable. Uh, and only you can vet that, right? Okay, I'm seeing some answers that are dropping in. Propeller, Ma's amazing. Oh, Ethica is really cool. Okay, wow, getting some good answers. So for today, I thought we could make a fun app together, from ideation all the way to production. And I wanted it to be a little more rich, not just a website that has all the coffee shops in Toronto. So I was thinking of like Product Hunt, kind of, not UI, but that functionality. Like, what if we have one place where we bring all the coffee shop information or data, Um, and then all of us get to vote on our favorites. Yeah, it would definitely help us because I'm seeing a lot of variations in what people are thinking the best coffee shop in Toronto is. Yeah, so that works. I'm totally okay to completely changing the demo tool last minute if that's people feel, but the idea is we'll go through a few different tools in order to build this entire app. Okay, so the idea is how can we build a category-based kind of awards page? We bring together, Toronto's best coffee shops because who can help judge coffee shops better than designers, right? So think, categories like best wines, best latte, best work from home spot, best hidden gem, the coffee shop that's hidden behind Trinity Bellwoods Park, if anyone has been there. So stuff like that. So how do we come up with, some overarching concept and structure? How do you start to not just put a UI on it, but you start to bring in some a little more nuanced functionality like community voting. And for community voting, we can't have folks having multiple votes. So how do you add authentication? And then how do you actually publish it on the internet? Yeah. Um, that approve. That's a great idea. Okay, cool. So I think someone in the community was asking yesterday, do they need to do anything on Figma for this demo? And I thought it would be amazing to completely skip Figma today. Go completely into um, a short sprint workflow. And this is definitely something I've tried at work when we've been ideating in concepts that even before, we get into the design part of our workflows, how do we nail the product aspect of it? Especially when you're ideating on some very early stage concepts, whether you want to put it into exactly as Jolie said, like get some rapid validation out, even think through things like data dependencies. Will this even be feasible within your specific org or the project you're working on? How many folks, and again, you can use the chat, it would really help me understand the audience. How many folks have used, let's say, 3 out of the 5 tools here? Or why don't you write how many tools you've used? 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. Okay. Okay. That's really interesting that many folks have used 3 out of 5, 0 to 5. So today we'll do a quick walkthrough of all of these. Um, okay, I'm seeing some folks are still up. HT raised hand. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask if you have a question. Okay. Folks that are just joining in, we are trying in the next 45 minutes to build a web app where we rank together as a community. We rank Toronto coffee shops um, in different categories, and community can authenticate and vote on them. And we're going to push this live. Rob has a great question. Rob, I'll definitely answer that. Why Lovable and Cursor? And this workflow that I'm sharing is a workflow I personally use. So there are some, you can call it hacks, you can call it nuances I use in my workflow to get it to literally ship apps within an hour. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna share my entire screen so all of you can see. Okay, everyone can see my entire screen here? Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's start with Claude. And I would love, it's all of us together in this. I would love if folks can help me also think through the prompts and all. So let's say it's 12:14 right now. We are not gonna spend more than 3, 4 minutes to get the prompt nailed. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is actually, since we already had it, I'm gonna take a screenshot of it and I'm gonna just post it into Claude and say we're building this web app. So it is a web app we are looking to build. Um, What else should we talk about? With inspiration from Product Hunt, but the UI should be more tuned to what kind of. No, Purv, I don't usually specify the stack. Mostly I've done in Next.js, but I'm not that fixed on the stack. But again, this what I'm mentioning is you're trying to build and ship a prototype out, which again people can interact with to help you get that rapid validation. Um, what else should we mention to Claude to help us get started? The UI should be much more tuned um, towards aesthetics. Uh, that aesthetics that curation based. Okay. Web interaction. Come on, folks, help me. Give me some keywords that you would like to be included in the prompt. The app should be okay. Matthew, what would be a do not?
Like I usually find you're saying that you want it to be more inspirational and things like that. So if there's any UI elements that you don't want it to do, or for example, things that you don't want it to include, it really helps the AI. So for here, like more tuned towards aesthetics, single curation taste, like maybe you can say do not use any like corporate speak, do not
Right.
use tones of or colors that feel more corporate. Like you can
Right.
tell it, and giving it a list of do nots actually I find really helps.
Feel genuine community curator list. Uh, Yet nudge users to participate and share, vote, make it pretty, yep, and make the logo bigger. Share board there, favorite coffee shop. Oh, we forgot we don't need a large set of categories for the awards. On type for the awards, but wow, but at least 4 to 5. Um, the list is focused on Toronto. So I will also ask it to pick any nuances it needs to, like, geography or neighborhood specific. So um, feel free to include um, language, positioning makes it feel Toronto native. Okay. Based on any design system. Okay. I'm not gonna use a map manual for now because of the short timeline. We're trying to gonna finish it in 40 minutes. It might make it big. So one thing I'm realizing it I did not explain. I'm gonna use Claude purely for the prompt right now. So I'm not gonna generate the app within Claude. Um, and then also it can be very expensive to do that in Claude. Definitely hard to do it in the $20 plan. And so that's why I'm using this combination of tools. So I think this is enough for us to get started. I'll give it exactly to Matthew's point, like what my ask is from Claude. I need a prompt from you to help build the V1 of this app in Lovable. I will also say I do not have a lot of credits, so optimize um, for the most V1 build within the 5 credit limit. I've tried this before and it actually does a pretty good job. Otherwise, Lovable, I don't know if folks have used it here regularly. Lovable can be quite a credit hog for the smallest UI changes. My goal is to get the entire workflow mapped out in screens as well as a strong design aesthetic. Okay, let's see what prompt we get. Um, at the end, you can also tell it to ask you any questions before making decisions. Absolutely, Arjit, that's usually a pretty good use. Himani is saying, yeah, does use Lovable and it can eat a lot of credit for changes. Okay, it's gonna go through my past Lovable prompts because I have done this before. Oh wow, okay. Act as a UX designer. No, no, no. Internal clarity, ease of navigation. That's a really good one. Well, I should focus on creating an intuitive, visually appealing user experience. Sure, the app feels like. Thank you, Mani. Let's see what we get from Claude, and then we can start to build on it together. Um, yeah, one thing I've realized is, and again, all of us have, yeah, exactly as Himani, you shared the prompt enhancer tool. I usually do a lot of back and forth, so it's almost like a little brainstorming partner. Even Arjit had a really good suggestion, like again, if we had more time, you ask the engine, what kind of questions or what kind of information is still missing that could help optimize the prompt. But again, I'm gonna do a quick V1 to help us get going. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to build out some of the different components. At the same time, I think one thing that I'm thinking of now is how do we seed some initial data. Is there a Claude skill on generating prompts? Of course, that would be quite meta. I'm sure you'll find a skill, like people write a lot of skills, but I've usually found skills are more focused on personas. So you could say, like, I need the creative director kind of prompt creator versus I've seen many for like senior software engineers and stuff like that. Sorry, the other thing I was realizing was one thing we will need is to also make sure we have the initial data set for these copy shops. So, okay, we are a little over time, so I'm going to quickly skim through design system plus homepage plus category browse. Okay, we're using React Tailwind, that's fine. Not corporate, editorial, food blog, instrument sans, that works. Homepage. Okay, categories. Best latte, best work from home, best hidden gem, best vibes, best patio season. Okay, that sounds pretty decent. Oh wow, it did seed already some data for us. That's amazing. And again, to Apurv and Himani's comments, like some of these tools, I find you don't need to elaborate too much in the prompt. Like again, we did not even think about including seed data, but these models are getting so good that they already, whatever prompt we are trying to engineer, they're already a few steps ahead. So it already thought of some of the seed data of the coffee shops. I'm gonna copy it because I will enrich it more. They already distributed them across the categories. That's amazing. Prompt to the actual detail page and nomination flow. Keep all existing. No, no, no. By the spot, and then the leaderboard and share cards. Okay, share cards is a good idea of having um, more like a community social component to it. Okay, QA polish and you. This is quite big. It definitely does not seem like five. It's five prompts, so definitely doesn't seem like 5 credits. Let's see. I'll just quickly ask it. This seems pretty detailed with the 5 individual prompts. Are you sure it will only use 1 credit per prompt? That is weird. It usually does do a pretty good job of it. Um, Honest answer, no, I can't guarantee. No, no, no. Prompt 1, 2 credits. Okay. You know what? We'll get started so that because Lovable is also going to take some time. Uh, that's okay. We don't need to restructure. Oh, the Six Coffee Scene. That name is actually better than Toronto Coffee Awards. That is pretty cool. Okay. I don't know if many of you have done this where you write the prompt elsewhere and then bring it into Lovable. One thing I've realized, having worked across few of these different tools, is Lovable's UI and aesthetic. They've definitely done a really good job that even the V1 that it gets you, usually does not look like any generic AI generated web app. So that's one of the reasons I usually start in Lovable. Also, Lovable has a free plan where you can just get, I think, you get 5 credits a day and a maximum of, I don't know, 30 or 40 in a month. So even with those few free credits, you can get a really good V1 within Lovable. Okay, it's getting started. Let's tell Claude that we used prompt one, but if we can trim scope for the other prompts, um, like that. Okay, so it set up a design system fonts, creating mock data, and now it's building out the actual pages. It would be really nice if they actually showed the UI. If you could see the UI coming together, how the AI is actually building out the page, that would be really interesting. Okay, which features are must have? I think we do need nomination and leaderboard. Let's say mobile, hamburger, and about we can skip for now, and shop detail we can include. Okay, how many more credits? Let's say 3. I was on work Slack for a minute. Where did 5 prompts come from? Rob, we are using Claude. So I gave Claude a very generic, we're trying to build this web app, and I did tell Claude that I need the prompt for Lovable. Like that's the tool I'm using, because many of these tools have different prompt nuances. So these AI LLMs usually know how to structure it best for a particular tool. So that's how we got the 5 prompts. Could you share the Claude's response to your prompt? I can absolutely do that. I'll download it as a PDF and share it with you. I'll put it in the chat later. Um, okay. Oh, okay. So our jobs are pretty safe because this does not look as exciting. So um, let's see if it captured most of the flow. I mean, the typography looks a little all over the place. I'm surprised. It usually has done a better job. Toronto Coffee Awards. The copy is nice. Browse the awards. Okay, there are awards. What is this? That's a crime. Who added a slider here? Uh, aren't you all happy? No one's taking the designer's jobs. Look at this. It should be illegal. I'm with you, Monica. Okay, let's run. Okay, this is still a little more in the product hunt space. Okay, so we can see different coffee shops. I can upvote. Okay, so this is good. That some basic logic. You can't upvote like 5 times the same coffee shop. I'm not seeing any authentication, but also we just actually now I'm realizing we just built the first prompt, right? So let's go and we must have the second set of prompts. So prompt 2, I'm gonna do the shop detail page. And while this is happening, I'll share another hack that I recently started using, which is whenever this happens, like you get a UI that's like, I don't know, boring, so meh. What I've done in like recently is I'll take a screenshot, and I don't know if anyone has used this website called Variant. They're getting pretty good at visualizations or UI design or even marketing design. So I'm going to post the screenshot here. Screenshot did not get copied. Where is the screenshot going? No, those are stickers. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna capture selected portion. Let's do this again. Capture. Okay, I'm gonna go into variant. Why is it not letting me paste? That's really interesting. Okay, maybe I need to. Oh, I need to sign in. Okay, we're in now. So what's happening? Once more, let's try. This is really weird. I don't know if my screenshot is not going through or where is it saving? Not. Okay, so what I would have done, wait, I added the shop detail, is paste the screenshot here and then generate some more UI, like a nicer UI. We'll still try it. I still want to try it. Let's try to see what do we have here on Lovable so far. 12:30, 30 minutes to go. Okay, so now when we go on any specific coffee shop, we can click on the coffee shop. Okay, we can see some, you know, it's actually, I'm starting to like it. It's minimal, does not have too many photos and, too much noise. Okay, and let's see. I think we have one last one, nomination form. Yeah. Between each prompts, click through. Okay, we won't have time for that. I'm gonna add the third prompt now. So far, just to recap, we are building an award site where people can go and upvote their favorite coffee shops. Oh, the site scroll went away. That is, oh no, it does come. So it's not made it responsive, that's really weird. Okay, so it's only the interim, the iPad breakpoint where it doesn't stack up. Okay, not bad on mobile. And then we got the homepage where you see the categories. You can click here and then go through each individual site as well. Oh, even these are clickable. That's interesting. So it did do some interesting, map some of those metadata or tags for each of the entities. So now it's building some more data context, shared header, a nominate page, and then via routing and integrate context. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna try this invariant. I'm thinking, I'm a little confused why it would not, why it's not saving the screenshots for me or letting me upload here. That is so weird. I wonder if it's my screenshot tool because I'm on Zoom right now. Oh, you know what? That could be it. But I do see. Can someone take the screenshot of this and from your screen and send it to me here in the chat? I'm gonna see if I can capture it that way because this is really weird. Oh, okay. I did get the screenshot in one view. Actually, let's see if I drop it in variant. I think variant is not letting me upload. Okay, you know what? Let's go to a friend. I want to explore the UI in variant.com. Could you give me a very short prompt to ideate? No, Isha, it's like I see the screenshot, but variant is not letting me upload it. And I don't know if it's something with me screen sharing already. So let's see if Claude can give us a quick prompt to ideate the homepage UI and leaderboard UI for this app. Because this morning I was playing with it for another tool I was trying to build, and it like I mean you can already look, these are the quality of interfaces and UI that it's building, and it's pretty good. Okay, so here are two short prompts you can drop. So let's drop it there. Okay, finally. Let's see what Lovable is up to. Nomination form is live. Okay, when you go to nominate a spot. Actually, I'm starting to like the some of the UI it's built. Yeah. How do folks feel about the scope so far? Like seems pretty decent. We can fix the responsiveness and some of the UI stuff. But otherwise, what do you think? What else do we need? Oh, thanks, approve. Yeah, yes, no. Okay, I'm gonna take it as a yes. Animation for transitions. Uh, wouldn't mind seeing the images of the coffee shops. That is true. That would definitely add a nice flair. So for that, and I'm gonna assume I didn't check, yeah, how many lovable credits it used. Um, let's bring it into GitHub, and then in Cursor, let's work in some of the either animations or the images for the coffee shop. So now, usually what I do is Lovable gets you to a great starting point, and now you want to continue to work on the app. And yes, Mariana, if you want to see the code for some reason, what I do usually is like I'm gonna push it to GitHub. So I'm gonna transfer this project. I've connected my GitHub account, and what that does is I use Claude to come up and ideate on the prompt. I moved, I took those prompts, built the V1 in Lovable. And because Lovable can get expensive, Lovable is also sometimes like, I don't know, from in terms of logic, it misses some basic things. So I definitely want to have a little more control where I can bring in other tools. Let's say even if now variant is, wow, look at that. Now that is nice. That definitely looks way nicer than, oh, this is nice, right? This looks really nice. I mean, imagine with the images. Okay, let's see if we can merge this with what we made in Lovable so far. So I pushed the stuff to GitHub. I have my cursor open. What I'm going to do in cursor is I'll say I have a new project on this GitHub folder. Can you pull and sync it locally and start the dev server? And so what dev server, literally local dev server means this, like what you're seeing in Lovable, because Lovable, this is being built online and it already has like a web URL. But if you're building locally, you still need to preview it. So that's where the dev server will help you. So it's gonna start downloading those files from there. Meanwhile, let's go to variant. Uh, what do folks think? Like which one do you wanna build? Here, let's go through a few of them. It's actually done a pretty decent job in giving us completely different aesthetics. I mean, yes, they're still in the same family, but look at the explorations. Like I think who Matthew, you were talking about images. Like, look at that. That would look beautiful. That and I definitely like this whole editorial grid layout. Maybe Emily, you and your team at Globe and Mail are also enjoying this kind of UI styles. Okay, should we take this? Okay. So one thing I really like about Variant, and we did not do many explorations. You literally saw what I did. I asked Claude to give us a prompt and put it in Variant, and we already got, quite a few explorations. And so we're gonna take one. The one thing I really love about this is they give you an HTML. I mean, ours is a React thing, so we can even use that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy the code. So not the actual image. And here, the app is now on my local machine, right? So I'm gonna go here and tell Cursor, I explored a design variant of this homepage in variant.com, and it gave me the code. So I'll post the code and I will say you do not have to implement the same code because sometimes it'll, break it, of course. Implement this code, but I'm looking for a very close um, I'm looking for an identical homepage UI aesthetic emulation. I'll use all the keywords you're sharing. Um, so let's see. Meanwhile, Claude also gave us a leaderboard UI. So because we like this one, let's go and So I opened this page in Variant. It's almost like you're forking. So I opened this page and then I'll go and ask for some other feature. And it will use this specific exploration as a reference. And now it's starting to build out the leaderboard. Okay, 12:40, we have 20 minutes. Um, Cursor's coding fast, trying to get us to the aesthetic. The biggest area where it'll take us time is building the whole authentication aspect. Sasha, to your point, why not doing it right away in Cursor? Because of the UI. So for me, usually what I've seen is the actual front end UI. And of course, it was a little quirky. You could say, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the typography choices it's made, but still, I would say it's done a decent job of very coherent and not your generic purple, blue gradient kind of AI generated apps. It definitely has a particular aesthetic if we could fix a few things. So that's why I usually start in Lovable, just get the first, iteration or MVP. Okay, it seemed like it built it. It did. So it got us the home page. I mean, of course, it should not have copied this. Um, Data compiled. This is interesting. Okay. Okay. So it has compiled some of the categories. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let's see if Variant has the other exploration for us for the leaderboard. Oh, nice. Okay. We good to take this. I'm gonna copy it. Um, can we I'll say extending on the home page. For sure. I mean, I could have, I would not have used, I had Variant as a backup. I would not have used Variant if if this was not a little so plain Jane. If it had more taste and more strong like design opinions, I would have stuck with Lovable. But totally, Sasha, you're right. Like we could also start with the prompts, then go into Variant, explore. But in Variant, what you don't get is the entire app workflows mapped up, which of course you could start in Cursor and then do the opposite. That totally works too. Extending on the homepage, I have new design inspiration for the leaderboard based on the homepage and leaderboard. Can you Can you extend the design language to the shop details page as well as all other design elements? Ensure the design system is all consistent, especially the colors and typography. Okay, so we gave it, two very different designs for the leaderboard as well as the homepage, but there are still things like CTAs, typography, that's all very nuanced to the first one. So I'm asking it to not only just absorb the design of the leader page, but make sure, it spans across. Uh, to ensure we have time to actually plug our authentication stuff in. If or like there are many of these tools out there for databases. Lovable has it inbuilt, but again gets very expensive. So there is this tool I use called Supabase. You can sign up with a free account and you get up to two databases or two projects that you can create. So I'm gonna go and create a new project for us. TO Coffee Awards. Uh, okay, and okay. Let's create a new database project. Okay, so it's set up a database, and why do we need that? We don't right now. I mean, right now we don't have too many entries of the coffee shops, but it would be ideal that your coffee shop data is also living in the database. But then for all of you to go in and authenticate yourself with emails and then go and vote on the coffee shops and for the platform to save the count of the votes, that's where we need this. Okay, that's applying it. Yeah, Himani, Supabase does the integration, but that's what I said. Like, I I don't use Lovable too much because again, it gets way more expensive because you then do have to stay within Lovable's ecosystem. So that I like to have those individual things kind of in control in a way. Um, and I can choose to, detach from Supabase whenever I want and move to a different database if the app starts to scale. Okay, while our cursor is still building on the app, in the database, I'll go into authentication, and that's why usually in the email, we will use the sign up email. And URL configuration we might have to do. Okay. You know what? This is like the way I got started in Supabase was also just asking Cursor, how do we even get started? Monica, what's the reasoning behind using Cursor for this part of the workflow and not Claude Code? Is it because Claude Code is expensive? Absolutely. Monica, Claude Code, I mean, this is a short app we are building, but in the last two demos we did, and my personal experience too, especially on the $20 plan, you'd be very quickly be out of credits in Claude Code. I recently moved to the Max plan, and even in that, if you're actively trying to build an app, there are weekly limits. So it starts to get very constraining. What you could do in Cursor, and I know we have few folks in the community who've done this, you could go and link your Claude Code models here. So you could start with Claude Code or use Claude Code wherever you need strongest reasoning. But then right now I'm using Composer or even GPT 5.3 Codex is pretty good. It allows you flexibility. If I'm doing front-end changes, I don't need a very advanced model. But if I was doing some really interesting data visualizations or integration stuff, then it would be helpful. I think we definitely increase the scope of the app by yeah, Composer is great by doing this whole design change. But let's see. As soon as it's done, we're gonna switch into building the authentication so we can actually push it live. Actually, you know what? I can also ask Claude if there are any things I can do. I have the app being built in Cursor, through GitHub, or sync through GitHub. I need to connect it to Supabase for auth, and let's just say auth for now, auth and votes, not maybe. Anything I can do to prep Supabase while cursor is building. So let's see if anything we can do. Oh, it already built it out. Pretty cool. I'm not seeing, okay. So it has all the, great, it did miss something. So something's up. Home page is blank. So what we can do in Supabase, we can create a new project. We already did that. Go to auth and enable Google and email. I think the email is already enabled. Authentication. Where do we go in auth? Providers. Providers. Allow new users to sign up. Confirm email. Email is enabled. Okay. And we don't need to confirm the email because it'll be enable email provider, secure email change. Password length, let's say 4. We don't need too much security. And then magic link is better. True. The tables I'm not gonna create. Oh, I'm sorry. This was 6. The OTP can be shorter. Let's say 6. Okay. Let's see if okay. The homepage is fixed now, as you can see. Is this homepage is fixed, and when you go in there, you see these specific awards. Okay. This is great. I need to connect to Supabase for auth as well as build the flow where users actually, what we did not do was look at the nomination. Like, how do I go and nominate? I actually can't even see the nomination link. and some UI errors. Oh, vote. Okay. So there is no, okay. As well as where users can authenticate and then nominate a coffee shop. 10 minutes. I know, Lee. We spent too much time on the UI. Typical designer behavior. I could have linked the Supabase and the whole auth and then tried to improve the UI, but it was just hard to move past it. We'll get there, hopefully. Let's see. Uh, okay, while it's doing the Supabase stuff, I will let it know I have a let's set up a Supabase project. New to the Git world, can you briefly touch base on the part? I'm not a pro in any way with the Git world either. And so all I did was I have a GitHub account. When you have a GitHub account, you go to Lovable, you connect your GitHub account. So all it did was package this entire prototype we had made and it moved it to GitHub. And then when I went into Cursor, of course, what you did not see is the first time you will leverage Cursor, um, and ask it to pull from GitHub, it will ask you to authenticate. Like it'll open the GitHub in the browser and you will have to say yes to the permissions. So I'd done that already. And it just pulled all the files down from GitHub. So I did not even, as you can see in the whole demo, I did not touch GitHub at all. Um, yeah, could you use Cloudwork to get it to set up Supabase while you worked on improving the UI? Maybe, Laura, I've not tried that. That's a really interesting point. So actually, one other thing, Laura, that might be happening right now is, oh, it's not happening because it's asking me to create a project. You can configure Supabase directly in Cursor. Like they have CLI tools. So through the terminal, you can connect Cursor, Supabase. So you don't even have to leave Cursor. Through here, you could be like, okay, go into Supabase, create the database, and it can do those things. Git is versioning for code. Yeah, that's CLI. Maybe someone can, I don't know the technical command line. Matic is here for all the technical questions while I build this out. Um, Thank you, Matic. Okay, so let's run the server again. And again, I sometimes find it annoying that it'll do things like this. It's like you restart the dev server and it can do it. And I'll be like, you start the server. And then it'll be like, okay, I can start it. And I don't know why Cursor makes you do these things. Like here, it started the server, but it'll still sometimes nudge you to do it. Okay, I'm seeing a blank page. Okay, so it did connect our Supabase, but it's asking for, of course, the API key, project settings, API. This is not Supabase, project settings, API keys. Is the service role key? Okay. I am going to, and again, this is a demo project, so it's not the best practice to post your API keys directly in the chat and it will call you out. Supabase. This is the service role key. Yeah. Key for this. This is not the terminal, Greg. This is, yeah, you need .env files, absolutely. Greg, this is a cursor. That's what, oh, it needed the anon public file. Okay, which is right here. Okay, so things are linked, but okay, I see a nominate. Okay, so it did build the authentication, 12:54, 6 minutes. I'm gonna wait. Okay, see again, restart the dev server. You restart the dev server. I don't know why these tools keep asking you to do things they can. I don't know if there's a security stuff angle in it. Okay, let's try it out. Oh, so some UX stuff like nomination still needs to work. Okay, I'm gonna wait. Why do I need a password? I don't need a password. I don't password. Maybe I forgot to tell it. We should just use magic link to authenticate and vote, and then the user can come to the site to vote. Um, Yeah, I don't need a password. That would make things, I mean, that would make it like I need to sign in, create a password, then I still verify my email, then I come in and then I nominate. And we don't need that. We should just have email only. You go in, you confirm your email, and then you can go in. Yeah, Magic Link is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, for such kind of things, you don't want to, have another password now to remember for such a simple app. As soon as it's built, we are going to, okay. Okay. Mm, Do I need to add redirect URLs? So another thing you need to usually do is you need to add redirect URLs in the Supabase. Yeah, see, it didn't tell you this. So what you need to do is in Supabase under authentication and where we said emails, was it an email? No. Magic link. No, not here. Wait, where did it say? Authentication URL configuration, sorry, yes. You go and you add a URL, and that allows the URL to be figured out. So now let's try the whole flow quickly. Community. Okay. I am going to open I'll open it here. So all of you don't have to see how unorganized my email is. Gmail, 3 minutes. Can we do it? We did technically start, 5 minutes late, but anyways. Okay, so the link it gave me was, yes, this link. I am in now. So one thing, I'm in, but I have no idea that I logged in. And it does. So while I vote, um, Magic Link worked, but there was no UI change to demonstrate I was logged in, and now would nominate some confirmation plus communication for the user. Okay, so I'm gonna say Signet Coffee. That's in my neighborhood. It's Dundas West. It is both these things. Okay, that confirmation was, oh, see, we're doing and it's already it added the email. Okay, you're signed in. I did add the favorite spot. Let's go into Supabase and see if it actually, oh, it doesn't, sorry, pull into Supabase right now. Oh, sorry, here. No, where should I be looking? In tables. Does it not store the votes in Supabase as well as the users? I'm not seeing it in the backend. Okay, it's still doing some changes. But anyways, we did the whole flow. We went from an idea to building the app. And to Matic's point, right now it does work just on my computer, which we will change in 1 minute while we still fix some of these things. Absolutely, please try it on your own. It's definitely really, really valuable. Okay, so now the last step, which I didn't show. We did till here. So we went through Claude, we did the data, the concept work, went into Lovable, generated the app, didn't do a good job. So we went to Variant. We brought both those things into Cursor. With Supabase, we built the UI and then, oh, sorry, the database and authentication. And now to push it live, I use an app called Netlify. And what you do is you go here, I've connected again my GitHub. And when I go here, we will have to figure out what the name of the project was. It was um, the 6 coffee scene. And I'm going to deploy this. And it's deploying. And usually what happens is when you deploy it, it does not have some of the keys, the API keys that we had used. So we'll have to push those into Netlify as well. But again, if we go back, ta-da-da, it's going to migrate some stuff to Supabase. And as soon as this is done, this is not the latest app. So it did not. So now this shows you it did not push the latest changes there. And also I'll go and I think you can change the project name, TO Coffee Awards. Thank you, folks. For folks who have to drop off. Okay. And I'm going to nudge. So Nomadic, I've not done that. That's where it still needs to do it. But this will be the URL where the updates are. I'll just say URL. So once the Supabase work is done, I'll ask it to push into Netlify, into GitHub, because now GitHub is synced with Netlify. So Netlify is the host, right? And it's pulling the code from GitHub. But right now, because Cursor was working locally at my machine, it has not pushed all the changes up back to GitHub, right? So that's the whole flow going on. Of course, folks, glad you all found it helpful. And for others, feel free if you are sticking around for 5-10 minutes. I of course want to see this to the finish line, so we can all start to vote on our favorite coffee shops. We definitely have some branding issues. This is called Toronto Coffee Society. The repo is called 6 Coffee Scene. The URL is now TO Coffee Awards. We should unify all those things. It's still making some changes on the database. Of course, folks. Why do we need Netlify? Technically, we could host on GitHub. Yeah, totally, Sasha. You could host on GitHub. I know GitHub pages I've used in the past, but whenever databases were involved, that's where I've usually found it a little more complicated. And Netlify, I found it just much easier to use. But maybe on the GitHub paid plan, it's much easier. I'm not sure. Laura, I'll definitely I'll do that. I'll send you the thing. Okay, so open the database, copy nominations. Okay. Can you open the file so I can copy, or I can see where the file is there? Or you can select all and copy in Supabase. Oh, here. Wait. What is the file and why doesn't it just do it? Desert is like not the free one, but the cheapest one they have, I think. That's the one I've been using. Sasha, that would be amazing. Yeah, Kin, there are, so I've not compared many of these places where you can host and deploy or just deploy. Um, okay, it's already done the migration. Let's push to GitHub. So all of you can try it. That would be amazing once it's live. Ken, to your point, I've not tried Vercel. And of course, I've not gone the rabbit hole of comparing a lot of dev tools. So this has just been my workflow, which has been working well. But yeah, I know few folks use Vercel as well, especially with V0. I think it makes it much more seamless. Okay, let's see if our live site is, oh, this is not the live one. This is the live one. Nope, not seeing it. Let's see if the build is happening. Oh, it's building it. So it's building the latest code. Let's see, it's published. Okay, 105. We actually did complete it in full 60 minutes because we started at 12:05. Best vibes. I mean, definitely some UI updates to be made. And see, it doesn't let you. So ideally, when you try to upvote, it should nudge you to open the nominate form. Um, and if I go to nominate, that's the sign in. So try it out, and yeah, that was that was it. Reina, I still have to edit the past video. I'll try to edit this one too. Yes, Joey, I should still be able to sign off early. But yeah, the whole I'm gonna stop sharing my screen quickly. The whole idea, I found this workflow extremely helpful at work, and I'll give you a very quick example. I was in a meeting 2 days ago where there was some, I work at a bank. So there was some ideation happening on a net new feature that would be a very large scope. And for some of those features, you can't, I mean, Figma works till a certain extent, right? Where there's no user data persistence needed, you don't have to dig deeper. But there was so much, sometimes, at least as a builder or designer, I find there's so much like talk about the work and so many discussions about how this should be done and how we like whether it's worth it or not. And sometimes it's again, it's better to use those 60 minutes that you can go and build out a prototype that now the research team could use it as a much richer artifact that they can go and validate with the users or have a much more deeper understanding rather than just surface layer, trying to understand or trying to debate on concept and just conceptual level, right? Um, so that's and again, everyone has a different, inclination. This is my default. Like I like to get into builder mode and start to work on it more than just debate on slide decks. That's my pet peeve. So yeah, that's and I highly encourage, I think, all designers to at least experiment with these kind of things. I think it's also really fun for our side projects. So yeah, hope it was helpful. I would really appreciate if you go and whether you share this link on social or you share, I'll share it again or any kind of call out that you can help us amplify some of these things we're doing. So we can go back to some of these tools and even ask their team members to come and demo or help get us some more credits because I know some of you were asking all these tools like need subscriptions, which is right now I can also imagine is a big blocker for many folks. Cool, folks. Enjoy if you're in Toronto, the nice white snow weather we have outside. And Jolie, whatever the weather in Vancouver continues to be. And I'll see you all on Slack. And then next week on Friday on Zoom. See you all. See you, Arjit. See you, Imani. Bye.